Hello, America. Is anyone out there? Anyone still up and at 'em? It's Bianca, GOP girl with Clean TV Live. And I have something to talk about, as I always do. Guantanamo. The closing of Guantanamo Bay. His wish to close Guantanamo Bay and release every detainee from Guantanamo Bay. Yes, I guess he is, I have to be careful with how I say things these days. He is dead set on releasing, I guess, everyone out of Guantanamo Bay. This week, President-elect Donald Trump, and this is true news for President-elect Donald Trump, GOP girls, Trump, true news. This week on Twitter, President-elect Trump tweeted, there should be no further releases from Gitmo. These are extremely dangerous people and should not be allowed onto the battlefield. Hours later, the White House's spokesman, Josh Earnest, announced that there would be more transfers out of Guantanamo Bay. Tuesday, we released 4. Okay. Now, let me just tell you, first of all, does anyone know what it's like to be at Guantanamo Bay? I mean, we are hardly torturing these people. These are the worst of the worst. Okay, let's get that out there. These are the absolute worst of the worst. The group that's at Guantanamo right now includes senior weapons trainers, an accused senior Al-Qaeda bomb maker. Oh, that's someone we want back out running around the world. Top financial manager for Al-Qaeda. And 2 intended 9/11 hijackers. And we have the worst of the worst. And Obama wants to release 22. 22 right now are prepared for transfer. And when Obama transfers them, he sends them to Saudi Arabia, and they are sent to, I guess, camps where they are to, I guess it's supposed to desensitize them from, wanting to be in ISIS or whatever. However, now, let's just get back to Guantanamo Bay, because these men are not being tortured. If you are a prisoner at Guantanamo Bay, first of all, it's air conditioned. They get television. They get to watch TV. They have a library. Apparently, Danielle Steele's books are quite popular. And children's books are popular as well. The prisoners that are there are the most intelligent of the terrorists, and they actually boast about the fact that that's why they weren't killed, because they are the most intelligent. But along with the most intelligent terrorists, we have the most dangerous terrorists, who, by the way, the Obama administration even said themselves that, I've got to look for this, here we go. At least 12 Guantanamo detainees have been implicated in attacks on Americans. The Obama administration, this is Obama's administration, okay? Obama's administration believes at least 10 detainees released from Guantanamo Bay have launched attacks against the United States or allied forces in Afghanistan, killing half a dozen Americans, according to current and former United States officials. That is back in June 2016. Okay, so back in June 2016, the Obama administration believed that at least 12 detainees released were responsible for half a dozen Americans being killed. And now Obama, who is undermining President-elect Donald Trump, who wants to start sending more people, because President-elect Donald Trump also tweeted that he wanted to reinstate torture used in the Bush-era war on terrorism. And he said, quote unquote, there should be no further releases from Gitmo. These are extremely dangerous people that should not be allowed back onto the battlefield. So President-elect Donald Trump says he wants to send more people to Guantanamo. He wants to reinstate torture used in the Bush era. And then hours later, we have Josh Ernst announce that we're going to have more transfers. 22 right now are ready to be transferred. And again, yes, do I believe terrorists should be tortured? Of course I do. Let's call a spade a spade. These are not Boy Scouts. These are men that our own Obama, that wonderful Obama administration, has admitted when they have released them, they come back and they re-engage. Actually, 30% to be exact. So far, at least 30% of all Gitmo detainees that are released end up coming back, going back into terrorism and killing Americans and other civilians. And yet, this is what President Obama is doing. Am I angry? Of course I'm angry. I'm angry because I want to know, where is Congress? Where is our government? Isn't President Obama guilty of treason? Well, we have President-elect Donald Trump wanting to make America safe again, and in turn making the world safe again. We have President Obama releasing men who have killed probably thousands. We also have at Guantanamo the men who were guilty of orchestrating the 9/11 attacks. Are we going to release them too? These men aren't being tortured. No, they have a library, they play basketball, they play soccer, they grow tomatoes, and they play foosball. The terrorists in Gitmo are not living a difficult life by any means. In fact, I watched one report, and there have actually been some detainees that have not wanted to be released because their life is far better at Gitmo than it is going back to the hellhole in the Mideast that they came from. And let's talk about when they are at Gitmo. We have detainees at Gitmo that, to our men, to our soldiers that are at Gitmo, they're stationed at Gitmo, what they do is they have a cocktail. Now, this isn't a cocktail like you're thinking or like I'm thinking. I'm talking a cocktail where, because these are evil people, they make a cocktail in a cup consisting of semen, blood, urine, and feces. And they throw it at our soldiers. Because these people have TB, they have hepatitis, and they have numerous other diseases, which they would love to infect our men with. And keep in mind that the Syrian refugees, bless their hearts, the good ones, the ones that aren't members of ISIS, the Syrian refugees that are coming into this country also have these lovely diseases. So, oh, and what I forgot to say is one of the detainees at one of the detainees of Gitmo, guess what? He may well have planned the attack on Benghazi, costing 4 men their lives. What it appears is there seems to be a conscious effort by President Obama and his administration to prevent you or I from knowing the truth about the detainees at Guantanamo Bay. I think President Obama is guilty of treason, because what he's doing is, we have had soldiers that have risked their lives, may have lost their lives to capture these men that are at Guantanamo Bay, and it was all for nothing. All for nothing. We have people that have been killed, and the terrorists have been captured, and they're released. It's maddening. It's disgusting, it's maddening, and I think it's treason. Because we are giving back the terrorists. We are letting them go back to ISIS. So who are we helping? We're certainly not helping America. Where is Congress? But then, you know what? I did look that up. Come to find out, there are members of Congress that have tried to do something, and I'm just trying to figure out why every member of Congress hasn't done something. Senator Ayotte, a Republican of New Hampshire, she's, I guess, a very vocal opponent of closing Gitmo. And she was upset because Obama's Guantanamo policy was so highly classified that her personnel that are actually cleared to read classified material could not read it. So she requested to have Obama declassify the information. We also have, because what the information was, it was the NATO personnel and United States citizens that had been killed by former Gitmo detainees. So it's happening, and it's happening often. Congressman Edward Royce, a Republican from California, quote unquote, "This administration is releasing dangerous terrorists to countries that cannot control them and is misleading Congress in the process." Why? Why is Obama not being tried for treason? I mean, we know he aided and abetted and even funded and armed ISIS. And now we have Obama preparing 22 Gitmo detainees for release back into the Mideast so that they could come back and kill us. I'm sick over it, okay? I am just completely sick. Because, with all due respect, Mr. President, for only a few more days, thank the Lord, you are not making America a safe place. You are not making the world a safe place. You have the blood on your hands of every American and every other person abroad that is killed by a Gitmo detainee that you released. But you don't care. You obviously don't care. Because it's more important for you to defend Muslims than it is to defend the people of the United States. I'd also like to add that President Obama, just weeks before leaving office, he's issued 78 pardons. He's commuted the sentences of 153 prisoners, extending his acts of clemency to 1,324 individuals. One of the larger uses of the presidential power to show mercy in modern history. Yes. Since taking office, Obama has commuted the sentences of more than 1,000 people, more than 50 times the number of people whose sentences were commuted by Bush, and more than the past 11 presidents combined. You know, and I'm looking at at who he's released, okay? Here's just one, okay? 34 months after taking office, President Obama released a woman who was guilty of distributing crack cocaine. I guess she had served 11 years of her 22-year sentence. And apparently she was selling crack because she wanted to support her 3 children. Well, I don't know about you, but I know, and I'm sure you do too, I know if I sell drugs, I'm going to be arrested and I'm going to go to jail, and I expect to go to jail for a very long time. Crack cocaine kills. You might as well, that woman that he released, that he gave a pardon to, I guess she had cancer. I don't care. I don't care. Because if you give someone or sell someone crack cocaine, you might as well take a gun and shoot them. Yes, just shoot them. They'd be better off. Obama seems to think that by his pardoning all of these people because of, wait a minute. He wanted to reduce the prison population because it was burdened by unjust and outdated prison sentences. No, there's a reason why these people were put in jail. I don't care if it was just drugs. I guess that's how Obama refers to it. He was just drug dealing. He didn't, or she didn't murder anyone. Well, that's where you're wrong, Mr. President. When you deal drugs, you destroy lives. You destroy the lives not only of the person who bought the drugs, you destroy the lives of every person, every family member of that drug user, and every person that ever comes in contact with that drug user, as well as the drug user. It's not just a drug dealer. The reality of it is, if they sold drugs once, they'll do it again. It's very unlikely that they're going to return to civilization and become a good person. Can it be done? Of course it can. Is it rare? Yes. Drugs kill. And yet we have a president that is releasing drug dealers that have killed thousands, millions of people like it's nothing. In my opinion, President Obama has done everything and anything he could to destroy this country. Obama clearly doesn't care about people using drugs, selling drugs. In fact, I believe Obama is on the side of the criminals and not the good people. And President Obama, you want to blame the loss of Hillary on the Russian hacking. Look at yourself and look at Hillary. This was an election where good trumped evil. You have done everything in your power to divide this country and to make this country unsafe. And that is why Americans stood up to you. And they stood up to Hillary and they said, we're done. We're done. We're done with Obama. We're done with the Clintons. We're done. 8 years is more than enough. And now, yes, President-elect Donald Trump is left to clean up your mess and make America great again, which I believe he will. But I want it out there. Congress, if you're watching, if the senators, if you're watching, why isn't President Obama being tried for treason? Releasing terrorists to allow them to go back out and kill more Americans, more people overseas? You are clearly on the side of the terrorists. You couldn't make it even more clear. Transparency, President Obama, you have not provided transparency. You've provided anything but. You have lied to the American people again and again and again. And we are sick of it. But I want Congress and I want the Senate to look at you when you're gone and go after you for the crimes that you've committed. Because I do believe you've committed a crime or crimes against the United States of America and its citizens. And I thank God that this country was smart enough to elect President-elect Donald Trump. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. Please share this video. And I will be writing a blog on it as well. Hopefully it'll be out tomorrow. As you all know, I have a real job. I'd like to be doing this all the time, but I teach tennis, and therefore I'm not writing as much as I usually do because I've been on the courts a lot. But all right, everyone, isn't it great that in a matter of days we will not have to look at President Obama every night on the television? That is how sweet it is. All right, everyone. www.gopgirlblog.blogspot.com. This is Bianca with Clean TV Live. Good night, everyone.